Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today with my favorite products of 2018. Normally when I do these, I try to make a bigger deal about it, but this year's been a bit rushed and I just thought I'll sit down, I'll write a list of all the sort of categories of makeup and beauty and then tell you what comes to mind as being like my favorite products, and I'll show them to you and tell you why. The sort of premise of this though is that these need to be products that I've either discovered this year or are new products to this year. So I can't talk about things that I like, the same brow products that I've been wearing for 2 years, because that's old news. All right, so primer. To be honest, I do like some primers and I have tried some this year that I like, but none that stand out above and beyond other ones that, yeah, as being like the best. So I haven't actually mentioned a primer. So I'll go straight on to foundation. I have 2 foundations that I've really been enjoying this year. So it wouldn't be much of a surprise to a lot of you to see that the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation is definitely one of my favorites of the year. This is a great foundation. I think on oily skin, it looks really good. It wears really well. The one downside, in my opinion, besides the fact that this is maybe a little bit too dark for me half of the year, I have to lighten it, not a big deal, is that retouching it is really hard because it does set down. If you want to touch up around your nose or sunglasses marks, sometimes depending on how you touch it up, it will just lift the foundation and make a bigger patch. So it doesn't like being touched up. So even though this is probably one of my favorite foundations of the year, and I wore it to a wedding yesterday and I sort of know that it does its job, and if I don't touch it, it will just do well. It touches up fine with powder, but I'm talking about like cream products that'll lift it. But I really like this foundation, and the other foundation that I used up and was in my empties earlier in the month was one by Lancome. So I'll put that on the screen, and I just want to say that that is probably my favorite foundation of the year because I found myself just consistently reaching for it. It was easy to apply, it looked really nice, and it wore really well, and I didn't have to worry about it. So that one probably is my first place, and this is my second place, only because this one, like I said, it does lift on itself if you're trying to touch it up. So that's my only problem with this, but definitely the Lancome one, I adored. I thought that was such a great foundation. Another base product that I really did enjoy, and this is a really affordable product, it's by Ulta 3. I think I got it this year, and it wasn't last year, I hope. But this is a Lightening shade adjusting drops. I thought this was fantastic. These are really, really affordable in Australia, and they do a really good job at slightly lightening, or if you get the deepening one, slightly deepening your foundation. So you could theoretically have 1 shade of foundation, 2 bottles of these, and just tweak them in winter and summer. I like them, really affordable, worked really, really well. So with, foundations like this that in winter is a little bit dark for me, I put a drop or 2 of this in it and it works a treat. When it comes to powders that I loved, I definitely loved Too Faced. This is the Peach Perfect. So just to clarify, these did officially come out in 2017 in the US, but they launched in Australia in 2018. And I was lucky enough to be sent these by a subscriber, I think earlier in the year. So I got them before they came to Australia, but they are in Australia now and they're new to me and new release to Australia. But this powder is beautiful. It's a really beautiful, finely milled powder. It sets the makeup really well. It goes really well with the foundation. It does have a bit of a scent to it, so if you don't like a scented powder, you won't like this, but you get a lot of it. This is 35 grams, which is massive, and it's a really, really nice, flattering powder. So I really dig that. Another powder that I really did like was by Linda Hallberg. This is the Infinity Filter Loose Setting Powder. My shade is Light. This one, like you can see, you get less product. It's 9 grams of product compared to 35 grams. This isn't scented. This is cruelty-free, vegan. Anyway, this is a really, really beautiful setting powder. So if you do want to order from Linda Hallberg, or Linda Hallberg's now available at Beauty Bay. If you're picking stuff up and you're in the mood or you're in the market, that's it, for a nice powder. This one's a really nice one. So yeah, really nice filling and looking powder. Okay, on to face color products. And I'm going to start with bronzer, but I'm going to mention that I bought, I think, one new bronzer this year, but I really haven't used it much. I was focusing more on Project panning some bronzers, using up some stuff that I already have to then use the products that I more recently purchased. So for me, I'm not going to mention any bronzers. When it comes to blush, I actually don't think I bought any blushes this year at all. I did get sent one from a subscriber, which I actually really, really love. This is a L'Oreal Life's a Peach blush. Has a very, very soft peach scent, but it's a beautiful blush. I'm wearing it today. It gives this is a bit of highlighter going on, but it gives just a beautiful peachy glow. Looks sort of matte, but it gives the skin a little bit of glow. Very, very, very small amount. Like, it doesn't make you look shiny or anything, but it's just not like the most flat matte. It gives a tiny bit of luminescence. But what's great about this, and it's gonna sound counterintuitive, but because this is not a very pigmented blush, like, you can definitely get color on it. Like, when you pick it up, you get color, but at the same time, it's not too much color. So you don't have any blush mishaps with this. You can actually go quite heavy handed and it not look unflattering, or you can take it really lightly and just have a nice little peach flush. But this is a really, really nice blush. I really enjoyed it. So I keep reaching for this one, which is strange. I didn't think I was gonna love it, but I do. Okay, I did buy quite a few highlighters this year, and I have been trying new formulas. And so I'm sort of, I've been into sort of sparkly, interesting highlighters because I've got a drawer full of sort of like, your champagnes and your golds and whatever. So the highlighters that I've been buying this year are sort of statement unique highlighters. So like the Vlada MUA one that's like, it's like peach to pink and it's sparkly, or like the Max Snow Flushed one, which is pink to gold sparkly, or the Jeffree Star one that's like blue to pink sparkly. So I've been going like interesting highlighters. And even though that's sort of been like what I've been buying, that's not actually like my most used highlighters, because I don't wear, like, I like sparkly highlighters and I think they can look really pretty and they can be really unique. And I sort of want to buy unique highlighters in my collection because I've got so many highlighters. I'm like, yeah, I've got 50 champagnes. I don't need another one. But if I had to pick the one highlighter that I loved the most this year, it's not any of those sparkly ones, believe it or not. It is actually by Becca. And this is the collaboration with Hattie Schmidt. And this is the Berlin Girl Glow. So it looks like that. And it is gorgeous. So this only came out a few months ago, and we talked about it on Beauty News. And I was like, I really, really want it. It looks amazing because it's like a nude base with like a cool shift. So like, it's not an icy shift, not a frosty shift, but just a cool tone, flattering glow, which is very, very unique. And I don't have anything else in my collection like this, and I can't think of any dupes anywhere for this. This is pretty much sold out whenever it's restocked, and I think if Becca's smart, they'll make it permanent. But I was very lucky that Hattie sent this to me personally, which was such a surprise. And it was so sweet of her, and she's such a sweet person. But that's not even why I like this the most. I like this the most because it's the most flattering highlighter I've used all year. I'm wearing it on my face now, and I don't know if you can see because of the light, but it looks sort of just like a beautiful cool tone shift. It's not even like, not cool tone as in silver, not cool tone as in blue. It just gives a sort of wet look, but not a gold or a pink. It's just like a cool tone shift, which is beautiful. So this is definitely my favorite highlighter of the year. And whenever someone's like, should I buy it? I'm like, yeah, if it's available, go get it, because it is beautiful. Like, all right, with the lighting down a little bit, hopefully you can see the glow. So it looks nude when you look at it like front on, but it gives a wet look. I did put quite a lot on, but it gives a wet look, and it just looks like a beautiful glow. And if you've got fair skin, this is amazing. It's very, very, even if you don't have fair skin, it just looks gorgeous. I love it. It's the best highlighter. All right, moving on to, I'm going to talk about brows quickly because there's no new brow products, so we're skipping over that. Like, I'm using my Benefit brow Brow pomade. Yeah, it's not new. I've been using it for a couple of years. So yeah, skipping that. When it comes to eyes, with eyeshadow base, I used up a paint pot this year, and I've been using mainly a Bare Minerals base or a couple of NARS ones. And I wanted to mention, I did mention this in my November, December favorites. I wanted to mention this one by NARS. This is the Tinted Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. So they've had the sort of translucent-y looking ones for years and years and years and years and years. And this year they brought out different shades. So I've got a couple of the shades. I was mainly using the light, and then I realized I really like this medium to dark one, which just gives a little bit more, like if you put it on, it's a little bit more of a caramel color. And if you do wear eyeshadows that are slightly darker than your skin tone, and if you are having a lighter skin tone like me, I find that this is actually a really, really nice base because it sort of can contour the eye if you just blend it out with a brush. And it also like just, I don't know, I think it works really well if you don't want to amplify the colors of your eyeshadows. So, and that's going to sound weird, but if you use browns and golds and stuff and you want them to look more sort of muted and natural, I think a base like this is often better than a base that brightens them. So I just have been using this a lot. It's a nice eyeshadow base. I like it. I don't hate it. Other eyeshadow bases that I've been loving this year, but I've had for a while, Too Faced Glitter Glue. I use it all the time. And yeah, those are sort of the ones I use. Paint pots I love from MAC. All right, when it comes to eyeshadow palettes or eyeshadows, I want to mention two things. Firstly, I want to mention some pigments that I love. These are from Dawn Eyes Cosmetics, and we were very lucky to be sent, Hayley and I were sent the whole collection together, so we ended up splitting them, and then around Black Friday we placed an order for some of the ones that we didn't have, so we have a few of them. But these are their multichrome pigments, and they are stunning. So I do have a little bag of them, and they, depending on the color you get, some of them have an obvious multichrome, other ones have a more subtle multichrome. But an example of one that I really like is this one called Alluring, and in some lights, I don't know if you can see it, but in some lights it looks green, some lights it looks more gold, and some lights it looks more purple. And these work really well over the glitter glue that I was talking about. So I'm just gonna put some over this NARS eyeshadow. But on the camera that looks purple. In real life this looks really, really green, and it's beautiful on the eye. So hopefully you can see in the mirror there that you can see the green, and then it goes that purpley kind of like pinky color, so green. And they are gorgeous. In some lights, it also looks a little bit like gold and yellow. So that's where the multichrome comes into it. And these are not only beautiful just all over the eye in like a one eyeshadow look. I just blend it out with like a tan color, or if I use that sort of base, you just blend that out and pack this on the eye. But I also mix these with Duraline, and I create like eyeliners out of them. So I think these are really, really beautiful, really, really unique. And they're not the only indie brand to do it, but I really, really dig these. So Dawn Eyes Cosmetics have made some beautiful pigments. If I had to pick an eyeshadow palette that impressed me the most this year, this is actually a very, 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 very recent one, but it's been a purchase that I've been umming and ahhing about for about 6 months, and I'm really glad I made the purchase. I'm thinking back, and I have used a few eyeshadow palettes this year. I didn't buy any in the first like first 6 months of the year, and I mainly did most damage in the last couple of months, sort of in the Christmas months and the treat yourself sales, and I ended up picking up the Gemini Melt palette, and the Melt Gemini palette, and I'm so glad I did, because I've been lusting after these sort of green colors. They work really beautiful with brown eyes and dark hair, and I sort of haven't put this down since buying it. So these sort of colors really inspire me. These mustardy colors really inspire me. So even though for me this is a very recent purchase, I'm just mentioning it as my favorite palette because it has been the palette that has like drastically influenced how I want to wear my makeup. Other palettes that I've bought, I've just gone, okay, yeah, they're nice, and I'll create looks that I have been creating prior, just with different shades, whereas I've been really, really wanting those green shades for quite some time, and ever since buying this, I literally don't want to put it down. So for me, this has been the palette that has made the biggest impact in my life. I don't think it's the best quality palette that I have purchased this year, but I think for the colors, I don't care. It works really nicely. I love it. So I want to see more palettes like this in the new year because it's my jam. To be honest, I think even though in the last couple of months I have sort of picked up a few eyeshadow palettes, this year for me has been more like unique eyeliners, unique pigments, unique glitters. And so that's going to transition to the category of eyeliners. And I do have 3 types of eyeliners here because I've been buying a lot of eyeliners. Okay, so clearly I had a thing for JD Glow eyeliners. These aren't even all of them. I think I've got a couple more in my drawer. I've got 10 here, I think, 10 here. Yeah, this looks crazy. I feel like I've got a problem. But JD Glow got on my radar this year because they released multichrome liners. So similar to these pigments, it's like these pigments in a liner form, but not as opaque, to be completely honest, not as intense as this. If you want to get a really, really intense eyeliner, go pigment, use Duraline to turn it into a liquid that sets and goes waterproof. But if you didn't want to do that, some of these liners are fantastic. Now, I'll pick out, the one that I'm wearing is actually in Translate. So I am wearing it today on my eyes along with the Gemini palette. So everything I'm sort of talking about, I'm wearing. And this is beautiful. Once again, on camera, you can't see the multichrome. You can just see that it's like a beautiful sort of aqua metallic, but in some lights it looks purple and in other lights it looks green. So it's a multichrome liner. And what I like to do with this, I find on its own, it takes a little bit to build up. And the more you put on of these, and it goes for all different formulas from JD Glow, the more you put on, the more sort of crumbly it becomes and it can start sort of puckering and flaking off. Whereas if you put this over a gel liner or a liquid liner, which is what I've done today, it looks really, really intense and it gives that beautiful effect without the crumbliness. So these aren't a perfect eyeliner, but I have been loving them. Surprisingly, they're amazing. So I do have quite a few duochromes. This is more of a green to gold sort of color. I have more of a purple and gold color. I don't know if you can see that. That one's really interesting. This is like a complicated gold that goes sort of bluey and pinky and green. It's really, really interesting. This would be more of sort of like a sparkly topper. Think of a lip topper, but on your eyes, so it's not super, super opaque, but it's really, really beautiful. I also bought some metallic liners, so you can see that they've got a whole bunch of liners. These are sort of the same formula, but instead of having the duochrome, they're just one color. These ones I don't love as much, but they are really pretty, and you can get some cool colors like red, which we'll put down there, and it's like an orangey, beautiful sort of burnt red, and it can really add something unique to even a boring look, which is really, really great. But the other liners that I recently picked up were neon liners from them. These are matte liners. Once again, if you apply too much, these do go kind of, they crack a little bit. But I've got neon purple and neon red, and I particularly love neon red. This looks like, how the hell are you gonna wear this? But I have surprisingly been wearing this a lot. I'll put a photo on the screen of how I wear it. And I think for a little pop of interest, this is a beautiful liner. It is so gorgeous. And I was so surprised at how often I actually do wear it. I was shocked because I'm not the most bold eye makeup person, especially if I'm not filming. Like, I was wearing this out of the house. I can't believe it, but I really love it. It's really interesting. So I think the formula it should be improved a little bit, so it's a little bit more flexible on the eye and doesn't like crumble. The mattes especially, because they have that sort of matte finish. They can be a little bit dry and crumbly, but you can definitely make them work, and when you do, they're really beautiful. Another indie brand that I love the eyeliners from, and I actually love a lot of things from them. Their new liquid lipsticks are fantastic. Their eyeshadows are fantastic, but I particularly like their like aqua liners, and this is by SUVA Beauty. So SUVA Beauty are very well known for their sort of aqua liners, and my favorite shade is Grape Soda, which is a purple. It's sort of like that neon purple, but I think this I think this performs a little bit better on the eye. They also have like metallic ones. This is beautiful. This is like a beautiful rose gold. They have neon ones. I'm going to pick up some of their neon ones because I love this so much. I want to try it in this form. But essentially what it is, it's like a cake of liner. You get heaps of it and you wet your brush, you mix it in, and like a water paint, you paint it onto the eye. Now these, once again, do have the same sort of problem that they can dry by the end of the day and get a little bit flaky, but I find that if you don't touch your eyes, these sort of stay put, but if you start rubbing your eyes, they can flake a little bit, and of course they're water activated. So if you're going to have very runny eyes, or you're going to be crying, or you're going out in the rain, you might want to avoid these, but these have some fantastic colors, and I particularly like the really unique ones. This purple, whenever I wear this purple, people are like, what are you wearing? What is it? And I'm like, it's SUVA Beauty. And they're like, never heard of it. And I'm like, well, check them out. So yeah, I've been really digging some unique indie liners this year. It's a big theme for me. The last liner I want to mention is not an indie liner. It is actually by Revlon. And this is a beautiful liner that I've been wearing quite a lot. This is the Creme Gel Liner in the shade Private Island. So 836 Private Island. It's a beautiful, deep teal liner, and I love using it on the waterline. It really can make a boring look pop. If you put like a teal or a green or a blue, like a hint in your look or your lower lash line, it can really make that color pop. And it's just a really, really beautiful color. Because it's a dark color as well, you can wear it as a normal liner, and it shows up really well. It really shapes the eye well, but I just particularly love this on the waterline. I think it's gorgeous. So that's my favorite pencil liner of the year. That's a lot of liner talk. I didn't realize I was so obsessed with liners this year, but clearly I was. Now, when it comes to mascara, I didn't really find a mascara that I really loved this year. I had some decent ones. I had some all right ones. Nothing that blew my mind. So we'll move on to lips. All right, so lips are a big thing for me. Not only are they on my face, but I actually love colored lips. I love bright lips. I love lip colors in general, and generally I can wear most lip colors. My biggest thing with lip products is I need them to wear well on me, otherwise I'm not interested. Because if I'm going to have a drink or have something to eat or I don't know, whatever, and touch my face, and then all of a sudden I look in the mirror and I've got lipstick smeared or crumbly like matte lipstick coming off, then I've got no time for it really. So the product that I discovered this year that sort of set me off on a bit of a buying frenzy, and this actually was the thing that probably helped not break my low buy, but took up most of my low buy space. So earlier in the year, I was giving myself a sort of allowance of 2 products a month, and if I didn't use the products, they could roll over to further months. And I think I've bought my first thing in April. So by that time I had accumulated a few like purchase spots, and I pretty much spent them all on this. So when I discovered one of these, I went and bought them all, and I was lucky enough that the Australian PR team sent me 2 of them because they're not available yet that I've seen in store. So I picked up all of these in Maya. They're by Tony Moly, and they're the Perfect Lip Shocking Lip Stains, and these are phenomenal. These are so amazing. I've spoken about them time and time again. I won't swatch them because they will stain my arm like instantly, but also like I said, I've spoken about them time and time again. So I use them all the time. I have Shocking Petal, which is more like a corally pink red. I have Shocking Orange, which is more like an orangey, it's like an orangey red, but it's more orange than red. It's actually quite nice. It looks scary when you swatch it, but it looks a lot more red on the lips. Then we have Tomato Shocking, which is probably, I'd say this is sort of like a reddy coral color, whereas Petal is a reddy pink. This might be a reddy coral. My favorite and the first one I bought was Ruby Shocking, which is an orange tone red. So this is a red toned orange. That's an orange toned red. And yeah, I do need them all. They all look different. Then we have Shocking Pink, which is a straight up sort of like pink. And then we have Shocking Red, which is more of your sort of vampy, cooler tone red. I love them all. I wear them all. And they are I've tried a lot of lip stains, and I've tried a lot of lip stains since buying these because it really got me into the lip stain thing. I bought a lot of different other brands from Korean, Japanese, like brands, and these are still my favorite. So I love them. You can buy them in Maya if you're in Australia. Otherwise, you can buy them on places, I don't know, you can buy them internationally like Yes Style and whatnot. But my favorite discovery of the year, hands down. Yeah, 2 new shades were released this year, the Tomato and the Petal, but otherwise these aren't new products to the year, but they're new to me. All right, there's a few more to talk about because I love lip products, and I've got different categories, so that's all right, yeah, maybe, kind of. The lip product that I'm wearing today is my favorite red lipstick of the year, hands down. Unfortunately, it was a limited edition shade by Uemura. This was in the Yazbuki collection that came out, I think, mid-year, and this was in Yaz Red. And this, like, if you actually have a look at how much I've used up, I use this is always in my handbag whenever I'm going out and I want it to look good. This is the lipstick I use. It is like a vibrant red, but it's got a bit of a coral tone to it, so it looks very, very bright. It doesn't look very orange, but it also doesn't look very pink. It sort of looks like a red neon coral. And when you swatch this, it doesn't actually look that impressive. It kind of looks powdery, but on the lips, it's beautiful. It lasts a really long time. And it gives you that sort of powder matte finish. So it sort of looks a bit like Ruby Woo, how it's got that powder matte finish, but I find this a lot more comfortable. And ever since trying this, I have purchased probably 4 or 5 other matte ones like this. This is still my favorite, but I love it. I love the formula. I love the effect of it. Usually if I'm going out and I'm wearing a red lip, it will often be this or like one of these because it's the best. When it comes to new release liquid lipsticks, there is a range that I really like, and it's too expensive and I find it really frustrating. And you can feel how nice, or hear how nice the packaging is. Anyway, they're by Bobbi Brown, and these came out. I was sent 2 of them, and I went back, and the very next day I bought 2 of them because I love them so much. And I sort of have all the shades that I'm interested in, so I haven't bought any since, but I'm not saying I wouldn't. But these are the Luxe liquid lipsticks. So you either get the velvet ones, so the Luxe Liquid Lip Velvet Matte, so they've got the frosted lid, or you get the Luxe Liquid Lip High Shine, and they've got the shiny lid. And they do have a difference. One is more of your shiny finish, one it settles down to a matte. The 2 matte ones I have a dark red and I have an orange. The orange wears beautifully. I wore it to a wedding yesterday, and it wore through food and drinks and everything. The only reason I didn't touch up this lipstick, I went for something else afterwards, was because I was rummaging in my bag and I couldn't find it. But my only issue with these is that they can feel a little bit heavy on the lips because they're quite thick. So I find it best to really scrape off your applicator or even blot it a little bit before it dries down. But these liquid lipsticks are fantastic. And strangely enough, I actually particularly like the shiny ones. The nude settles down to a really natural finish, and it's a beautiful shade. This reminds me a lot of Velvet Teddy. This shade is Barely Nude. It's sort of like Velvet Teddy, but a liquid lipstick that has a bit of a shine to it. You can either build it up and make it look quite high shine, or once again sort of blot it down to make it just look like a nice, comfortable, natural looking sort of lipstick, but with a lot of pigment. And this one here, which is a really dark color, this is Wild Orchid. I remember wearing this out and being really worried that it was going to smear everywhere, that it was going to wear off patchy. It wore off beautifully. It's a high shine, really, really dark lip, but it wears down to more of, it looks like a sort of berry stain, but like a pigmented berry stain that has a bit of a balm to it, and then you can just touch it up, but it's really, really beautiful. So these I really, really like, and I particularly like these sort of shiny ones. And I may as well swatch that one just to show you, because you can see how like lacquer gloss it is. It's beautiful. Imagine your lips wearing that. Very pretty. Not too long to go, guys. The next lip product I want to talk about is actually a pack, and it's my favorite Christmas pack of the year, or my favorite Christmas release, and it was by Too Faced. This is, so it's from this pack here, which is the Sweet Smell of Christmas, and it's got 4 mini size melted matte liquid lipsticks. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I really love this formula. I've got like a dozen of them, and I do think the sort of formula, look, it can either be absolutely fantastic, it wears perfectly through food, looks flattering for the vast majority of the day, really easy to wear, or it can be a little bit, wears off a little bit patchy. And I find the darker shades tend to wear off a little bit patchy, but the nudes and the reds wear off perfectly. So these, it's a beautiful pack. All these shades have a different scent. So we have pumpkin spice, we've got hot buttered rum, we have sugar cookie and cinnamon bear. Like, they all look gorgeous, they all wear perfectly, they all have a different scent, they all have a little like festive lid, and my favorite shade by far is hot buttered rum. It is sort of like a really unusual warm mid-tone brown with a little bit of a like orangey yellow base to it. So I find this, even though it looks really basic, it's actually really unusual, and it's very, very flattering, and I love this shade. I can't get enough of it, and I really want to buy a second pack just so I can use, I know I'm going to use this up. I know it for a fact. It's like one of my favorite lip products to use, hands down, and it is so beautiful. I love it. Too Faced should just bring this out in a big one, because I do have a lot of their nudes and they don't have one anything like this. Similar, but not quite, and this is just amazing. The scent is amazing. Everything's amazing. That pack is really, really good. Highly recommend. All right, we've nearly made it through all the makeup categories, and then I'll talk about one hair product, one skincare product, and one body product. But before I do, I want to talk about my favorite sort of finishing sprays, and they're by far from Uemura. I actually don't reach for these too often because I feel like these are like, I don't know, if you're going out to something special, these are like the treat yourself. They're amazing. But these are the Skin Perfectors, and I like to say that it's like, I don't know, you've been touched by an angel or something. This one is the Sakura one, so it's the cherry blossom one. It is, oh, it literally has the finest mister ever. It's got a little bit of oils in it, and it just really helps hydrate your makeup. So if you are like me, wear a lot of powder, wear maybe matte foundation, this sort of just brings back the life to it, but it's such a fine, delicate mist that it won't like splurt out badly, but also it smells amazing. This is a sweeter scent, like it's a sweet, beautiful scent. This one here, which is Yuzu, is more of a citrus scent. Then they have 2 other scents. One's a little bit more masculine and one's a little bit more green plant sort of smelling. I'm just gonna spray this too. So yeah, I've got actually one of each because I love them so much, but I use them like sparingly because I should use them every day. I love them. Yeah, for me, these are like those high-end lipsticks where you're like, I can't wear them every day because I'm gonna ruin them. But when you use them, you're like, I feel like a queen. All right, on to skincare, and I'm only talking about one product, which is kind of strange, but at the same time, this year for me has been a year where I'm trying to clean out my cupboard. I'm trying to use up the products that I've got unopened, you know, and just sort of work through the products so I can really focus on the things that I really, really love and repurchase the things that I really want. And that's another thing. I've got some really nice products in my skincare routine, but a lot of them are products that I have been using for years. I've just repurchased them time and time again, so it doesn't really fit into the category of new products of this year. But one does. And this is an outstanding product, and this is a product that for me, whenever I use it, I'm like, it is amazing. And the product's by Glyco. Now, it is a bit of a bougie Australian brand, but it's very, very, very good. I have a few products by Glyco, and I like all of them. Once again, I'm sort of waiting to use up a few things to sort of introduce more of them into my everyday routine, but this one I love. And whenever I use this, I have a good skin day. So this is the Micro D Intensive. So it's like a microdermabrasion scrub type thing. And so what I do with this honestly, if I'm having a bad skin day, I'm feeling like my skin's a little bit dry and it's looking a bit shit and it's feeling a bit textured and bleh, all I do, I take a smallest amount of this, like maybe just slightly bigger than a pea size, and I just rub it on my face in the shower, and I sort of put it on, rub it in. It's very, very coarse, very, very finely milled, so it gives you that really extensive, like physical scrub feel, which I love. But then I leave it on for a few minutes and I rinse it off, and my skin, I'm like, there is no texture on my skin. There's no pores. It doesn't exist. So I sort of use this maybe once a week, or if I'm having a, you know, like I said, a bad skin day and I feel like I just want to like get a fresh start and feel great, this is amazing. So even though this is a bit of an expensive scrub, I think it's totally worth it. And if you use it really sort of sparingly like I do, I've had this for quite some time, probably nearly 6 months, and I use the smallest amount, and I use it once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, and every time I use it I'm like, this is a godsend. It's amazing. So this is standout skincare product of the year for me, for sure. All right, now I'm going to talk about a body care product, and this is really random, but I really, really like it. If I had to think about what body care product that I've used this year that I can really recommend to people and I really, really enjoy, it would actually be from Thursday Plantation, and this is the Macadamia Ultra Hydrating Daily Body Oil. So I really love this. I got this at a Priceline showcase and I didn't expect it to be as good as it is, but it's a beautiful body oil, and it's one of those ones that absorbs quite quickly and doesn't leave you feeling really greasy. I hate that feeling. It drives me insane. This one's great. It's also got a really nice sort of herbal, slightly lavender, but not obnoxious lavender, more like lavender oil scent, which makes sense because it's got some lavender oil in it. But I find it really calming. I find my skin responds really well to it. And I love this. This is really good. It's very good. The weather's sort of getting warmer, and if you're like, oh, I feel like I need to show my legs a bit more, I'm getting like dry bits on my arm, just use a bit of this like once a day or before you go to bed, and your skin will be like super smooth. It's a really, really beautiful product. Okay, hair product. I'm talking about one hair product, and this is the one hair product that I think has actually made a difference to my hair. And this was also from the Priceline showcase. This is by Kristen S, which is a brand that has just come to Priceline in Australia. And this is the Weightless Shine Leave-In Conditioner. This is a miracle in a bottle. And if you're looking at it and going, you haven't actually used much, Kat, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, the story is I got this in September, maybe. And I noticed such a big difference with this when I was using it, and it made my hair a lot more manageable. It made it a lot less frizzy, but it didn't weigh it down. Problem with my hair is I've got quite wavy hair, but it gets really, really frizzy and lacks shine and lacks volume. It's sort of like frizzy, and then if you do something to it, it just goes limp. But I found that this was such an effective leave-in conditioner. It's the best one I've ever used. And the problem was, and get a load of this, I actually, shortly after finding this, I'd actually booked in for a keratin treatment, which is supposed to last 4 to 6 months if you maintain it, and it's supposed to help smooth your hair, reduce frizz, make it more shiny, blah, blah, blah. And so I did that, and I had to stop using this because this has sulfates and parabens in it, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so I had to stop using this because with a keratin treatment, you can't use sulfates and parabens. Anyway, I swapped to products that didn't have sulfates and parabens, and I hated my hair. It was like greasy at the roots. It looked really limp, even though it did look shinier and it didn't look as frizzy. I just really struggled with it. I had to wash it more often. It was driving me bananas. And so even though I had the keratin treatment for a couple of months now, I've decided that even though I know that if I maintain it, it will last another few months, I actually don't give a shit anymore. So even though that was an interesting experiment doing the keratin treatment, I sort of feel like it was a waste of money because I actually like the effect of this more than I like the effect of the keratin treatment. So that says a lot about this product, and that's why I haven't used too much of it, because I didn't use it for a few months when I was trying to maintain my keratin treatment and try to make it work for me. And now I've realized that this actually just does a better job. So I'm just gonna use this and go back to my normal hair products that actually work well. So this is my favorite hair product of the year, hands down. It is such a good, I wanna try everything from this range because it's great. All right, the very last thing I want to talk about are tools, and I'm mentioning one. It's a new sponge from Ella Cosmetics. I love this sponge. You might go, Kat, it's in this. And I'm like, no, you can buy it in a duo, which is I think 20 Australian dollars, or you can buy it in a single, which I think is 14 Australian dollars. And I'm using the one from the single. Now I was sent these from Ella Cosmetics, which is an Australian brand, and I was really, really impressed. If you've tried the flower sponges, which are not available in Australia, this has the same sort of feel to it, the same softness, same sort of bounce and plumpness, but it is a better shape. So this has that pointed shape, which really helps get under your eyes. And I think this is a really, really beautiful sponge. And I'm really happy that it's Australian based, because you can buy from them internationally if you wanted to. But you know, I love that they're very affordable. Like you get 2 for the price of 2/3 of a beauty blender in Australia. Like it's crazy. These are fantastic, so I love these. All right, that was mega. Those are the products that I've loved this year. To sum up my year, colorful, strange liners, and a lot of lip products. That's sort of what I've been going for. Yeah, that sums up my 2018. I'm not going to do a fails of 2018. I usually do that every year, but about, I don't know, a month or 6 weeks ago, I did a sort of fail video, and let's be real, this year I haven't had much time or patience dealing with products I don't like. So if I don't like a product, I literally get rid of it because I don't care for it. So yeah, I don't really want to be negative and do a fails this year, but I will, you know, periodically throughout next year, if I think of a few products that I don't really like, I might do a video, but I don't have one to sum up. I don't have like a fails of the year video this year, so it is what it is. But if you wanted to see what any of the products were that I spoke about, I will list them all in the description box down below. And I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas or holidays or break or whatever you're doing. And I will see you guys after Christmas, or yeah, I'll see you guys after Christmas for wrapping up other things like Project Pan and empties and whatnot. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.